Hi everyone and welcome back to Big Healthier's YouTube channel. If you're a baking enthusiast, today is your lucky day because we are diving into the world of vegan gingerbread cookies. We've got three mouth-watering recipes lined up, so whether you're craving a classic gingerbread, seeking for a quick and easy option, going for a gluten-free, or opting for a very healthy and oil-free treat, we've got you covered. So put your apron on and let's get baking. So our first recipe is almost classic vegan gingerbread cookie. First, we're gonna start by making some flax egg by combining 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal and 2.5 tablespoons of water. Let it sit aside for at least 10 minutes. Then in a large mixing bowl, we're gonna add that flax egg that we just made, quarter cup of vegan butter, quarter cup of peanut butter, quarter cup of molasses, half cup of coconut sugar, 3/4 teaspoon of ginger, half teaspoon of cinnamon, quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. So you want to beat those ingredients with a hand mixer, or if you're very strong, like I am pretending to be, you can just whisk everything well to combine. Then in another bowl, we're gonna add quarter teaspoon of a fine sea salt and half teaspoon of each baking soda and baking powder into 1.5 cups of whole wheat flour. So we're gonna add the flour mix into the wet mix in batches and mix well with the wooden spatula. So the dough should be soft but not sticky and should hold the shape. We're gonna turn the cookie dough into the work surface and then make it into a ball, and then from a ball form a disc and then chill it for an hour. And then we're gonna generously sprinkle the workstation with flour and then place the chilled dough and start rolling out the dough. We are aiming for a 1/4 inch thickness. Then grab your favorite cookie cutters and then cut out a shape and gently transfer the cookies to a baking sheet. And make sure to leave about an inch between the cookies in a baking sheet. Roll out any of the remaining dough back into the bowl and then repeat all the previous steps until you run out of the dough. We are baking those cookies in a preheated oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 8 minutes or until they appear a slightly brown at the edges. Keep in mind that the baking time will vary depending on your oven, but also how thick you rolled out the dough. Also keep in mind that they will continue to firm up once they sit on a pan, and if you want soft and chewy cookie, make sure not to overbake it. Then let them cool down for a few minutes and then transfer onto a cooling rack, and we are going to the next recipe. Now let's switch gears to our maple almond flour gingerbread cookies. These come together effortlessly in a food processor. Grab a bowl of a food processor and add following ingredients: 250 grams of almond flour, 2 tablespoons of brown rice flour, half teaspoon of cinnamon, 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger, quarter teaspoon of allspice, quarter teaspoon of black pepper, and half teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and 7 tablespoons of maple syrup. Blend until everything is well combined. It took only a few minutes for me. Then once everything is well combined, use your ingredients to roll out the mixture into one large bowl and place it in the fridge to cool for about 30 minutes. Once the dough is cool, remove it from the fridge, sprinkle your work surface, place your dough on a work surface, and we're gonna roll it out to the 1/4 inch thickness and cut out our gingerbread biscuits. Place the cookies onto a parchment paper lined baking sheet and then bake them in a preheated oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes or until golden. Transfer to a cooling rack and we are on to the next recipe. Next up is our very healthy gingerbread cookies packed with wholesome goodness. For this recipe, we will make flaxseed just like we did for the first cookie. In a small bowl, combine 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds with 2.5 tablespoons of water. Then let that sit for at least 10 minutes. In a medium-sized bowl, add all the dry ingredients. 2 cups of oat flour. Make sure you sift oat flour, especially if you are using a homemade oat flour that tends to have a bigger pieces. Then 1/4 cup of tapioca starch, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Then mix well and set aside. In another bowl, we're gonna mix 1/4 cup of maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of unsweetened applesauce, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and flaxseed. Then add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and using the wooden spoon, mix until the dough starts to form. Initially, combine all these fantastic ingredients with a wooden spoon, but then you can get your hands in there for some fun mixing. Shape into a disc and place it covered in a fridge for about an hour. When the dough is chilled, place the dough between 2 pieces of parchment paper and roll it out to a 1/4 inch thickness. Cut out your gingerbread man shapes and place them on a parchment paper lined baking tray. This is a gluten-free and a fat-free dough, which is awesome, but it's also very fragile. So I suggest you cut out shapes starting from the edges towards the middle, so not like I did in the video, or to use a spatula that you floured a little bit to lift up the cookies. And then bake the cookies at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. Let them cool down a little bit and then transfer to a cooling rack. We quote-unquote decorated cookies with melted dark chocolate and healthier icing. And there you have it, 3 delicious vegan gingerbread cookie recipes to brighten up your day. For precise measurements and instructions, you can visit our website, which is linked in the description below. If you enjoy these recipes or learn something new, please give us a thumbs up. And remember, we share recipes every week, so you can show us some love by subscribing to our channel and clicking that bell icon to receive notifications. Thank you for joining us today, and until the next time, stay sweet and stay healthy.